to my black people from all over the world, once again, welcome to Africa Renaissance Show. And my black people, this past week, the three foreign ministers of the West Africa countries of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are met in Bamako, which is obviously the capital city of Mali. And during the meeting, the three foreign ministers passed a resolution, and the resolution is that the three countries are going to form a federation or a confederation. And what is next, my people, is that the three foreign ministers were then, required to report the resolutions of the meeting to the respective presidents or head of states of their respective countries. And now the head of states are supposed to adopt, those resolutions of that meeting. But right before we proceed, my people, have a look at this video and then we can make our analysis afterwards.
Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger look to form a federation. The foreign ministers of the three Sahelian nations recommended on Friday creating a confederation as part of a long-term goal of uniting the West African neighbors within a federation. The top diplomats of the Alliance of Sahel states met in Bamako for 2 days. Their discussions aimed to flesh out the workings of the new alliance, with the ministers emphasizing the importance of diplomacy, defense and development to consolidate political and economic integration. Malian Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop said the recommendations will be submitted to each head of state, who are due to meet in Bamako at an unspecified date. The country's economy and finance ministers, who met in late November, advised creating a stabilization fund, an investment bank and a committee that would study an economic and monetary union. In mid-September, the military leaders of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger signed a mutual defense pact, the Liptako-Gourma Charter, named after the eponymous historical region, established the Alliance of Sahel States.
In the view of the three respective foreign ministers from the three respective West Africa countries, the need to form a federation between the three states arises out of a need to enhance the development, the defense and the defense stature of the three countries. And if you ask me, this is a step in the right direction. And the reason why I say this is because one of the main reasons why African countries are poor and underdeveloped, it is not because Africans are stupid or Africans are less intelligent than all the other races of the world. Rather, it is because of the Barring Conference. And the effect of the Barring Conference is that Africa was split or was divided into 54 different countries, states which were very small with small populations and states which were not viable. So for instance, if you are talking about the country of Burkina Faso or the country of Niger as an example, dealing with some of the biggest powers in the world, let's say countries such as China or the USA, in terms of extraction of mineral resources from that country, of course, it is going to give in to the pressure of the superpower because after all, they're just a small country, and all it takes a few threats here and there, and of course the small country gives in. And this is why I have a lot of respect for the three heads of states in the three countries, because they understand the history of Africa and they understand the challenges that we have experienced in the past. And this is why they are seeking to form a confederation, between the three countries. And what I can say to the three heads of state is that they need to proceed with a lot of speed and avoid the mistakes which were done by our forefathers, our founding forefathers. And I can give an example of Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah wanted Africa to unite, at the time when African countries were granted independence. And according to Kwame Nkrumah, African countries needed to proceed with speed, and not take a lot of time before forming a federation of African states, because if African countries were going to be given independence, and they were to have respective presidents in the respective states, after a short period of time, the presidents from the small states would become comfortable and be caught up in the trappings of power, and it would become almost impossible afterwards for them, to give up their powers and delegate those powers to a federation of African countries. And this is why it is very important for the three presidents to move with a lot of speed, because the longer it takes before this federation is realized, the more these presidents from these respective countries are going to become comfortable with their positions. They're going to be caught up with trappings of power, and will become almost impossible for them to confederate, And the idea of a confederation is very important. And one of the goals, of course, is to improve the economic prospects of the three countries. And of course, obviously, like I have stated, this goes without saying that they will be in a position, to negotiate better for their minerals. A country like Mali is known for having a lot of resources. They have gold, yeah. They have rare metals. Same case with Burkina Faso. And of course, Niger, of course, it has some of the most valuable minerals in the world. And so when these countries come together, they are going to, be in a better position to mobilize resources so that they can extract the minerals by themselves. And in fact, if you ask me, this is the best idea. Instead of, giving licenses to foreign-based companies to come to set up base in those countries and mine resources, I don't think, the technical skills which are required in terms of mining resources are too complicated. And if these countries are going to come together, of course, mobilizing the resources and pulling resources together so that they can set up companies to extract those minerals, and so that they can get 100% of the proceeds which comes when those minerals are eventually sold in the market. And if this is realized, of course, the countries are going to be very rich and very wealthy. And the other thing that I have to say is that in terms of defense, or insofar as defense is concerned, of course, by the three countries forming a federation and coming together, of course, it will be very easy for them to, defend their states. As we know, these are countries which have been experiencing existential threats, from insurgents, and their sovereignty and territorial integrity has been threatened for a long period of time, because we have seen Muslim insurgents from the northern parts of those countries invading these countries and seeking, to, form different states, yeah. But now that they have come together, they are in a better position to pull resources together to buy the best weapons that money can purchase. And defeating these terrorists is going to be very simple. And as we saw this past week, there was an attempt on a military base in the country of Burkina Faso by more than 3,000 insurgents. But because of the equipment that Burkina Faso has managed to purchase, it was very easy for Burkina Faso to overwhelm the terrorists. And within a short period of time, more than 400 terrorists were neutralized. More than 400 terrorists were killed, And this proves that the unity between the three states is already beginning to bear fruits. And you can imagine what is going to happen when these three countries integrate in a much more deeper sense and form a federation. And of course, if that happens, we can expect to see even better results. And not only the matter of putting resources together, we should also think about, the technical aspect of defense. And what I mean by this is that these three countries are now cooperating, in terms of defeating the terrorists. Because what used to happen before is that the borders between the three states were very fluid. And so what the terrorists used to do is that they could initiate an attack in one of the three countries. And then when they are pursued, they could escape to the next country, to the neighboring country. And because there was no deal, on cooperation between the three states, the terrorists could not be pursued once they entered the territory or the jurisdiction of the other state. But now things are very different. These three countries are not only training together, they are also sharing intelligence and also coordinating when conducting operation against these terrorists. So if a terrorist, if a group of terrorists escapes from country, let's say escapes from Burkina Faso and moves to the country of Mali, then the defense forces of the country of Mali will be on standby. They will be waiting on the other end for the terrorists. And as soon as they enter the territory of that country, of course, they are going to be pursued and they are going to be neutralized. So what is happening is that there is no hiding place for the terrorists any longer in the three countries of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And my black people, that's all I have for today. If you would like to watch more of this content, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Goodbye.